Yeah, welcome back, YouTube. Somebody asked the other day, did I make a clean and how did I put my fish up video. To get out here today while I was cleaning this here and show you. A lot of time I come home, if I fish in the evenings and I don't have time to clean them, I take my cooler, I put them in the cooler. I'll freeze these. I keep these bottles of ice frozen in my freezer. A lot of time I use Pepsi bottles. I just fill them up with water and put the lid on them and put them in the freezer and have them froze when I come home. But whenever I need them, then I have them to put in the ice. I'll put some water in here, then I'll put the bottles in there, them froze bottles, and I'll take the lid off of them, and that way as they melt and that cold water is mixing in with the water I put in there with the fish. And this particular cooler here, I can put the ice in there, about 5 bottles of ice. If I fish that evening, it'll last till the next evening when I get home. It'll still be ice. And I'll pour a little bit of ice in there with them. I don't know if you can see that piece of ice there that's still floating. But I'll pour some ice out the top the freezer in there on them also to help. Anyhow, that's how I do when I come home. You see the bottles there. And in a little bit I'll show you what I do with them Coca-Cola bottles. Anyhow, we go get the scaling up some of them, show you how I do my scaling. A lot of people do it different way. I just do mine with my knife. I got a certain knife I use a lot of time when I'm hunting or fishing. I do my scaling or cleaning with. I like this knife here. The point ain't real pointed, but it's got enough of points you can do what you need to do without the point stabbing in there, catching in something or something. But the wife will be back here directly, and she'll show you. We'll show you how she does hers. She does hers different way than I scale my fish, and she's good at it too. She don't mind scaling fish. That surprised me whenever she got over here and I was out here scaling fish. She'd come out here with me and she'd grab my hook and start scaling. See if I can pick the camera up just a little bit. Try to make sure I get all the scales off. One thing I can't stand is to be eating a fish and get a scale. But on them little points next to tail there and stuff, that's where a lot of times people miss the scales at. Anyhow, if you don't want to see this part chain, you might want to turn your head for a minute. But that's basically how I do mine. Got me a little gut bucket that sits right there. I throw the heads and stuff in. Clean the inside out. Put them over on this side. Go ahead and do one more in case I didn't get the footage good on that other one. A lot of people have fish scalers and all that now, they scale everywhere, but I still do mine with the knife. Still do it old-fashioned way, I guess. Once you get used to doing something, it's kind of hard to break the habit. A lot of people just cut their fish right across there. But I don't know, I was always scared the whole fish ever since I was a young boy. So I still yet do the whole fish, save all the meat I can. That's the part where you got to be careful. You don't want that knife to stab all the way through that fish. And you don't want to have it so sharp that it'll cut through there so fast it cuts your hand. I'll catch that head right there with that knife. Snap it off. And that's another one done. Put him in there, I can wash the scales off of him. Anyhow, this is the way the wifey does hers. She uses a spoon. People use spoons before, but she come over there the first time I come out. She come out the house with a spoon, sit down before the skate. All the time she do the scaling while I do the head and then everything gets prepared over there. That way we work as a team to get them done twice as fast. Yeah, she's already cleaned 3 in about 4 minutes or so, or 3 minutes. She cleaned that while we were here talking, that less than a minute. All that kind of tough to get to with that belly sticking out there like that. That was full of eggs. That's 4 already ready. When both of us doing that, we get it done a whole lot quicker, according to how many fish. But these smaller ones she'll take and use as dry. She'll make dry fish out of these smaller ones. And that's why sometimes you see me bring them spotted sunfish out and stuff, because she likes to make dry fish out of them. A lot of times she said the smallmouth's too thick to make dry fish. She wants the kind of thin fish like brim or stump knockers to do the dry fish with. This is the way she prepares them for her dry fish. And then when she gets finished with that one, she'll do the next one like that. We have to do a different thing on dry fish the next time. On this catfish, first thing I do is break his thorns off. Get them out of the way. Start with before I start working on him. What I do with this catfish YouTube, I come over here where I got my deer skinning rack. I took my gamble off of there. Gabble, and got a hook on there what I hooks the gabble on. All I did was cut a hole under the catfish's jaw, hooked him on that hook. Now I can pull on him without having to have anybody else to help hold him. I set bush lines or trot lines and I catch catfish way over 15 pounds or so. That's usually what I hang up here, but I was just showing you today to show you how a lot of times you do it by yourself. You ain't got no help. Or you can put a nail in a tree. I used to have a big spike in a tree that I'd hook under put a hole up under the jaw and hang them on the spike. But anyhow, I cut him down the belly and around both sides of the backbone there, and then split it down all the way down the middle to next his tail. And I split him from here to right there on his bottom side, trying to keep the hide from catching the meat. That's why I split it down where the hide will kind of roll back and roll off without trying not to tear too much meat off. But that belly, this belly part's got a habit of catching and tearing the meat, some of it anyhow. But can't always get them to do like you want them to do, so just have to do what you can without trying to save as much of it as you can. A lot of people don't eat the belly part anyhow, but I try to save it all, save as much as I can. Well, that's the skin off of him. All I do now is rip this out, cut the fins off, then I'll have the catfish done. What I got you in now, YouTube, is a pair of hedge bush cutters. When I'd be working on them, set the bush lines and catch them old big catfish, instead of fighting with them trying to break the bones at the head and the tail, I just cut them with these snips. Grace, you want to come in and catch the bottom of this fish?
Which one?
If you catch the bottom, I'll snip the catch the bottom part. That saves on trying to tear that head and that backbone in two and all that. Just cut them with them snips in two. I don't know if that crappie's gonna fit in that jug. Probably gonna have to cut him in half.
Fit.
Yeah, he'll fit. YouTube, a lot of time my Coca-Cola bottles, 2-liter bottles, and milk jugs,
Put some bait.
I'll save them and put the fish in. That can fit in the milk jug. Is that can fit in the milk jug?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, because a lot of times the freezer bags and stuff, I used to use them, and a lot of times the fins would poke holes in the bags and they'd leak in my freezer. So now I got where I'll take a knife and cut the lids off of these containers, and I can get, it's according to the size of the fish, but I can get 5 or 6 fish in each one of these containers, and that's enough for us a meal. But I'll show you how I set them up directly in the freezer here. We can get catfish put in this other jug. But this is just the way I do mine. Like I say, to keep them, putting them in them freezer bags and holes getting poked in them. Then she'll put water in them till they cover fish all the way up. Just so none of the fish is exposed, it won't dry out. We just get them good and covered with water like we have those there. So you can put some more water in these other ones. It's amazing how many fish you can get in one of them jugs there, especially the gallon milk jugs. And all we do set the jugs up in the freezer, get them set up in there inside each other, try to brace them up where the water won't pour out, and that's the part where you got to be careful. Get them set up in there without the water spilling over anything. I got this freezer so full of deer meat. But anyhow, that's how I get them set up and put in there. But anyhow, that's the way I do it. And thought I'd make a video since I was asked about it. Anyhow, catch you the next time, YouTube. Wash them off good. Get the scales off of them. I'll put them in the water here on the end and let them be soaking while I'm doing the others. And that's how I get them. Start getting them ready for getting them prepared to put in the freezer. Hang on, we'll be right back with you.